Hey everyone, it's Michael. Today I'm going to be doing my series ranking, which there's not many of these on the channel at the current moment, of the Goosebumps Haunted Library, which is also called Goosebumps Thrillogy. And of course this box set thing is what I got mine in. They came in the mail recently. I actually bought it off somebody else on eBay. And of course it says Thrillogy inside, and you have like a giant bookcase, which is pretty cool. I keep showing this in all my videos where I talk about the Thrillogy, just because I like to show that off. That's pretty neat, in my opinion. You have like little parody titles and cool stuff like Spooky Night 2 and The Ghost of Mr. Goodbar, which is a Hershey's candy bar item, obviously. Now, in those three bookshelves, they have slots where you can put each of these three stories that were released in like chip bags and Pepsis and candy bars from like Hershey and stuff. You have three different stories, and I'll show them to you in the order that I read them. The first one I read was Bad Dog, and then there was Don't Make Me Laugh, and then there was the Halloween Game, right? So you have all three of these, and that's, from what I understand, these are the only three that were released at any point. All written by R.L. Stein, apparently. And I did small reviews here on the channel for the three different mini books, if you want to call them mini books. They're 19 pages apiece and very, very thin. The three of them stacked together is shorter than a regular Goosebumps book that you get from the 62 Classic Book series. But anyway, these are not spectacular. They're really not. They're not my favorite Goosebumps things ever. I'm glad I own them because of just being a collector in general of Goosebumps stuff, or at least the books. I'm more of a book collector than I am a DVD and VHS collector or video game collector or merchandise collector or anything like that. I'm more of just a guy who loves Slappy and loves the books and want to read and review all the books just for you guys to talk about them here on the channel. But anyway, let's start off with the third book in the ranking system here. And you can probably tell if you're already pretty familiar with my reviews, especially the last review I just uploaded earlier today for the Halloween Game. You're probably familiar already with what I'm going to say and what my ranking's probably going to be, but hopefully maybe you're not. Maybe this will bring you in and make you have a fun time. Maybe this is the first video you've seen from my channel. I don't know. Subscribe. You'll have some cool stuff to look forward to, I think, if you're a big Goosebumps fan. And fan of other stuff, because I talk about things that are like Goosebumps as well. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about, that's what I always say at the beginning of my reviews, book number 3 on this Thrillogy ranking series. Book number 3, the very bottom and the worst of them, is easily Don't Make Me Laugh. Don't Make Me Laugh is just uncomfortable from the get-go, and not in a creepy, fun, good way. You start off with kids that like to hold a kid down and tickle them, and it's just, there's something about that. I don't know what it is. There's something about that just rubs me the wrong way. I don't know why that bothers me so bad, but it's not good. It's not Goosebumpsy, you know? I've never heard of something like that being done in Goosebumps. I suspect there was a ghostwriter, but it's not like it really matters. These stories are like maybe 6 pages long in total by the time you get the font shown in these books. It doesn't really matter, but that story was really weird. It kind of turns into like an abduction story. I won't tell you by what. Again, if you want to find out more, you can watch my review. It's not good. It's obviously, honestly, in my opinion, I would say it's one of the worst things that R.L. Stein has ever written. I would say it's one of the worst Goosebumps things ever written, or released for that matter. I've read a lot of the Tales to Give You Goosebumps series. I've read 3 of those 6 books. And I'll tell you straight up, man, that story right there, Don't Make Me Laugh, is very easily probably the worst of all of them, in my opinion. Of all stories in general. But, you know, that's neither here nor there right now. Book number 2 in my series ranking is going to be the book I just reviewed today called The Halloween Game. Now, this one was kind of pretty close to getting as good as Bad Dog, but Bad Dog, in my opinion, was a lot better. I liked the twist at the end of that book. I liked a lot of things about that. Halloween Game had a really good start. If you don't know the story of this particular book, this is essentially about 3 kids going out trick-or-treating one night, and they may probably be too old to be trick-or-treating anyway. They even acknowledged that in the story. And the kids come across a house of one of their classmates, and when they go inside and they just kind of, you know, see some other kids sitting there and they're talking about this Halloween game thing they're going to play. Apparently, I guess they play it every year, I'm not really sure. But the main kid that lives in this house tells our 3 main characters and the other kids that are hanging around that the Halloween game is based around this idea that his aunt down the street from this house has a house built exactly like his. And if you go in that house, if you happen to find it and you go inside of there, there's going to be candy, just tons and tons of candy hidden throughout the entire house. You have to go in there once you find the house, which all the kids don't really know where it is. They just have to go find it themselves. When they come across it, they go in and get as much candy as they can, and they come back to the main student kid's house that they were going to. And that's pretty much the idea of the story, and then it gets really wild and really weird, and it has this really awful plot twist, in my opinion, that just sucks, and it ruins really a lot of the tension that the beginning of the story built up. It's one of those premises that really got me into the story, like Ghost of Fear Street #1, Hide and Shriek. I wanted to read that book because of what I heard the plot was about. Playing hide and seek with a spirit, ghost thing. Fascinating stuff. And then this story comes along, and it has a really fascinating story as well, and it just flatlines. Just really, really bummed me out. But anyway, the Halloween game, it's fine for the most part. I gave it a 3 out of 5 on my review. It's fine. It's not special. It's not really great by any means. It's just okay. And then finally, the first book, as you can tell, there's only 3, so the first book of this series in my ranking is going to be Bad Dog. It very much has a Cujo feel to it by Stephen King, you know, that particular book and movie and all that. And I really like that about it. I think the plot twist is pretty cool. I actually like the execution of the story. This feels like if any of them were written by R.L. Stine, it was probably this one. It's just decent. It's a really good story, in my opinion. I had a fun time reading it. I liked it. I thought it was solid. I expected to like Halloween Game more than this, because this was the first one that I read out of all the stories. And I was a little surprised that Halloween Game ended up not being, to me, as good as this one. Maybe it's because these were put out in Pepsi products and, you know, Hershey bars and chip bags and stuff. Maybe there was a lot less effort put into making good stories. Like I said, I still suspect these are probably ghost written, but it doesn't really matter. I don't really care. I just like Goosebumps. I review them here on the channel. But this is easily, in my opinion, the best. Out of all of these small 19-page long tract-size books, this is the best one. I enjoy the story. Kids just trying to get away from this big, huge dog. Won't leave them alone. It follows them everywhere. Pretty cool story, in my opinion. If I had to recommend any of them to be read by you or to be bought by you, if you happen to see any of them listed individually or collectively and you buy them all on eBay or something, I'd recommend Bad Dog. If that's the only one you can find, I'd recommend that one. Really good. Really, really good. So anyway, guys, that's like I said, that's my ranking for the Goosebumps Thrillogy. What are your thoughts on this book series? Put your thoughts and comments down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say about the Thrillogy. What are your rankings on these if you happen to have read them? I don't think many people have read these in the Goosebumps collecting community. I don't see many people mention these ever. I had to do some pretty deep research to find out there was only 3 of them. And to my knowledge, I think there's only 3, but I could be wrong. But anyway, put your thoughts and comments down below on my ranking system, on my thoughts about the different books. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, what would you rank these as if you have read them? Have you only gotten like one of them to read? You know, what are your thoughts? I'd love to hear everything you have to say down below about the Thrillogy. And yeah, may the Lord Jesus Christ bless you guys today, and goodbye.